Hey guys, Steve Trowbridge here. So, I am making another video, yet another Jonathan Curtin video, but this time it's not going to be me responding to a video that he did himself. No, he actually found a token person to back up his guilty conscience, to back up his defense of pedophilia, someone who isn't Amos Yee or Stetson or Savannah Ape. A token female, actually, a token female who was defending pedophilia, and I'm guessing who was maybe defending some of his other beliefs that he has spewed on his channel over the last few months. So I'm going to. Luckily, it's only 3 minutes. It's not a fucking hour-long feature-length video of him rambling incoherently. This is a 3-minute video, so I'm going to respond like usual and take it point by point. So without further ado, let's get this shit show, because I can't even speak clearly, apparently. Let's get this shit show on the road.
Hello YouTube, it's me again. I just thought I would make a video on why pedophilia isn't wrong. So basically,
You look very... Yes, you look very confident in your position that you're taking. That's why you look like you're going to break down crying in any second. I mean, that's why your voice is shaking, that's why your eyes look teary, that's why, yeah. You look very, very confident in what you're defending. But go on.
I personally have had an experience with pedophiles, and
Again, you sound like... She sounds like she's going to break down crying at any moment. Seriously. I don't mean to make fun of this. Like, I think this is fucking horrible. I mean, I think that the only reason she's gonna say that she was okay with it is because she was conditioned to think it was okay, and she hasn't been able to break out of that conditioning because she hasn't had the proper help or the proper, she didn't. Yeah, basically the proper help to get her out of this mindset. She never got the help that she needed. But whatever.
they're honestly nice people outside of the fact that they have a different interest.
So right out of the gate, I find it interesting how you can't just say pedophiles are nice people, there's nothing wrong with them. You can't just leave it at that. You still point out that they have an abnormal attraction, that their attraction is unusual, a paraphilia as it's classified as, but still, I find that interesting. You can't just leave it at they're nice people, they're decent people, they shouldn't be prosecuted. You still point out their attraction. So...
And a different sexual interest than the rest of us. And
it's not simply a different sexual interest. It's not like being, gay or being bisexual or whatever. It's not just another sexual orientation. Okay, this is a very abnormal, it's a paraphilia, it's an abnormal attraction. The difference, like I've explained many times to Jonathan Curtin and to Stetson, the difference is that within every other sexuality, whether it be heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, whatever, it involves grown adults. Grown adults, two consenting grown adults who understand what they're getting into. A child has no idea about what they're getting into. They do not have the depth of understanding to understand what they are getting into. Therefore, it is not consensual. It can never be consensual. So already I've ripped this argument to shreds.
if we look past that, we cannot keep generalizing. Those who
Yes, no. I think it's perfectly reasonable to generalize pedophiles. The only difference is the ones who choose to act on their desires and the ones who choose to not act on their desires. Being the ones who choose not to act on their desires, they will not act on them, or try not to, at least, because they know that there's nothing but negative ramifications that come from them acting on their urges. Those are the only ones that I would give the slightest benefit of the doubt to. But even with those pedophiles, there might come a time where they just say, you know what, fuck it, and they act on their urges anyways. That damn the consequences. They don't give a shit. They'll get to the point where they don't give a fuck. They're fucked either way. So they might as well just do it now and fuck the consequences, fuck going to prison, to jail, whatever. And you've got people who actually make the argument that child porn should be legalized. You know, because I don't know how many people make that argument, but they make the argument, you know, saying that it should be legalized so that way that pedophiles won't go out and act on their urges. And I disagree. I think that making child porn legal will only make pedophiles more braver and make them want to act on their desires more. Plus, you're legalizing the exploitation of children, the abuse of children. And that's really fucked up. And anyone who is in favor of legalizing child porn is a fucking shitbag too, in my book. So no, I think it's perfectly reasonable to make a generalization when it comes to pedophiles. They all have the same attraction. Like I said, it's just the ones who choose to act on their desires and the ones who choose not to act on their desires. But even with the ones who choose not to, because they know that it can cause nothing but negative effects, there's still the chance that they will snap and act on their urges anyways. So no.
Who are pedophiles? I mean, why? Okay, someone. There are people right now in jail. They're behind bars because they have a different sexual.
For raping a child, for molesting a child, for taking advantage of a child's naivety, of their innocence, of forcibly taking their innocence away, yes, they're behind bars for that. And I hope they get the fuck beaten out of them by the inmates in jail, in prison. And you know what, honestly, fuck Jonathan. Fuck you, dude. Okay, you bring this person on here who's clearly very vulnerable, who clearly is suffering. Like I said, she literally looks like she's about to break down crying in this video. She's wiping her nose. She looks like she's just about damn near about to start wiping her eyes. You're taking advantage of the fact that she's in a very vulnerable position, very obviously. Just because you want to have your token person on your channel to try to back up your arguments for this subject. So fuck you, Jonathan. But even still, she's still choosing to make these arguments, so I'm going to respond in kind.
Well, preferences. And is that fair?
It's
No, it's not. It's not.
It's perfectly fair. It's you know what's not fair? It's not fair that people who smoke a joint or whatever are behind bars, because that's not hurting anyone. You know, marijuana is not that bad. I tend to think that you know the positives outweigh the negatives when it comes to marijuana. But I'm getting off topic like Jonathan Curtin always does. No, it's not unreasonable. It's not unfair. It's not. It's perfectly fair to the family whose child got taken advantage of. And it's perfectly fair to that child who is going to suffer because of that.
Not fair. And some of the time, they're not even real pedophiles. Like, they're not even the ones that go out and rape little kids.
They're not real pedophiles. So what is a real... So what is not a real pedophile? If you are attracted to kids, you are a pedophile. If you molest a child, you are a pedophile. I hate the fuck out of the argument of pedophile versus child molester. No, if you're a child molester, you are a pedophile in my book. That argument can go fuck itself.
Consensual sex with someone that is not 18 yet, or 16, or whatever the legal age.
So wait, are you talking about people, men or women, whoever, who have sex with teenagers? You're talking about teenagers, adults who have sex with, like, what, 15, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds? I still don't think that's right. I still think that's very predatory and very wrong. But at least then... I have a hard time. I can't defend that either. But An adult engaging in sex with a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old is far different from someone who takes advantage of a freaking 7-year-old child, but you're still defending something creepy, something predatory. I mean, in that case, if they go after teenagers like who are 15, 16, yes, technically by definition they're not pedophiles, but I think that'd be classified as a hebephile, which is probably what Onision is. But hey, off topic again. But no, someone who is in their 20s, 30s, who is still going after kids who are still in high school, that's fucking creepy too, and that's fucking wrong as well. I mean, it's just the lesser of two evils at this point.
Your state or country is, okay? They are the ones who are being charged with statutory rape.
As they should be.
Okay. What if it was the little...
And I'd like to point out that in my opinion, 99% of the time, the only reason that someone who is a grown adult, who is a grown ass adult, who mid-20s, early 30s, whatever, only reason they will go after someone that young is so they can control them. That's it. Someone who is 15, 16, 17, who has no real world experience, who has not experienced the shit in life yet, they can control that person. That's the only reason, 99% of the time, why someone will go after someone else that young. And you're going to have a hard time convincing me otherwise.
Boy or girl, okay, this can happen to either gender, or even if you're not a boy or a girl, okay? This can happen.
Even if you're not a boy or a girl, but you are either a boy or a girl. Are you one of these SJWs who believes that there's more than two genders?
To anyone. And what happens is, what if they're the ones who are just initiating onto the pedophile? They're hitting them in a weak spot. Is that fair that the pedophile, the real victim here is the pedophile?
The real victim is the pedophile. Okay, assuming we're still talking about teenagers, it is the adult's job, if a teenager, 15, 16, 17, whatever, is trying to initiate something with a grown adult, it is the grown adult's job to say, no, this is not right, and to stop the situation. It is their job to do that. They are the fucking adult. If they don't, and they take advantage of the situation, it is entirely on them. I don't give a fuck what you say. Trying to say, oh, the pedophiles are the victims in this situation. Whatever. No, they're not.
Okay? And I just think that's not fair. I mean, I've seen a lot on the internet about this.
I just want to say, I don't mean to get real mad at her, at this person, because, again, like I said earlier, clearly she is not in a good frame of mind. I think that she's probably struggling with several things, but it's really hard for me not to get irritated when someone is trying to argue in favor of pedophiles and predatory behavior. You know, she's saying that it's not fair, she's saying it, and I don't know. I just want to point that out.
And I've honestly come to the conclusion, if you do a little bit of research, you will see that in a lot of the statutory rape charges, we have children who are the initiators. Is that fair?
Yes, it is still fair. Because even if the child is initiating, which again, are you talking about, what, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, whatever, it is still the adult's job to stop the situation because that person cannot consent. And they most likely are not in the right frame of mind. They do not understand they do not understand the depth of what they are doing. They do not understand what can come of this situation. They have no real understanding of what they're doing, what this situation could cause. So yes, it is fair, and the adult should be the one to stop that situation.
Is that fair? Are they. Who's the real victim here?
The person who is not fully mentally developed. Mentally, emotionally, not mentally or emotionally fully developed is the one who is the victim in all cases.
Okay, think about that.
I mean, okay, that's the end of the video. I mean, unless you have a bunch of fucking teenagers who literally tie the adult up to a bed and literally like force him or her to do something, that's the only scenario in which I could see the adult being a victim. But if that was the case, then that person is not a pedophile, though. They're just someone who got taken advantage of, and yeah, that's a whole other different scenario. I mean, really, what you were arguing for is, the statutory rape thing and relationships between teenagers and adults, which I do not defend whatsoever, which I am entirely against as well. So that pretty much wraps this one up. Jonathan, fuck you. Nice try. Something different from you, but it didn't work. So, yeah. Holy shit, this video is 16 minutes long. I did not realize that.